Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Okay.
Now you're more fluent.
He got free!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
What's up, everybody? It's Fluent. Jalen Carter will be joining us shortly. He is unfortunately answering some questions with the NAACP about his joke about Emmett Till on Player's Choice earlier this week. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Now you're more fluent.
However, this week on 6 Degrees North, the show about the Toronto Raptors, that we're going to talk about certain things, not Toronto Raptors. Because there's really not much news to talk about when it comes to the Toronto Raptors. They've signed their players to some extensions. They weren't very active in free agency other than losing a few players like Gary Trent Jr., who signed with the Milwaukee Bucks, but they extended Scotty Barnes and others. So there's not really much to talk about on the Raptor front. So this week, once Jalen joins us here in a minute, we're going to be talking about Team USA because that's important. We are going to be talking about the WNBA and how they have a new, possibly, deal in the works for a TV deal that I think is actually really low. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about who are some of the Summer League standouts this NBA Summer League. So that being said, Jalen Carter will be joining us any minute to have that conversation. In the meantime, Team USA narrowly escapes South Sudan, a 1-point game where they trailed by 16. Most of you probably couldn't name one person on the South Sudan basketball team. Maybe we can challenge Jalen to see if he knows anybody without looking it up, to see if he knows anybody who was actually on the roster for that game versus Team USA. Don't go looking it up. If you try, I will see you. So let's start there.
What's going on? That is a good question. I mean,
Just
the one I know.
I let everybody know before you get into Team USA and South Sudan. I did tell everybody you're late because you were in an important hearing with the NAACP about your Teal comments. Has that hearing, was it successful? Is everything?
Yeah, it's successful. I think I'm cleared of all charges. I think I'm a free man.
So it's funny because I don't, no disrespect. I don't watch Player's Choice anymore. And it's not because of anything, as you know, it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
I like you. I like Ron. Me and Jermaine or Jill still do a show together. Have no beef with anybody over there. Well, except the CEO. I don't like him. He's a punk. But also, when I do watch the show, one of the things I did enjoy doing was, saying a couple of things in the chat when you guys would say something that was egregiously wrong. And when I had a show on that network, I had a membership and they've taken that away. So respectfully, you're not worth the $5 a month it is just to comment every once in a while. So I don't really watch it. That being said, I'm on YouTube because I'm posting, right? We've got 20 shows. I'm posting our stuff. I'm finding clips for our shows and stuff like that. And so I'll jump on YouTube, and you know how it is on YouTube.
Set up
recommendations. Yeah. And so I don't see anything from Player's Choice, but I do get, hey, you should watch this reaction video of Damo and the PC drama. So he's been doing a series of recapping what happened with Ticket.
Big
What
Ox too. Yep.
Oh, I didn't see the one with Ox. That I didn't.
That was the whole thing that I did on Big Ox stream, and Dom was reacting to that.
Oh, that I didn't even see. Okay,
exactly.
So I'm not there yet. So I saw Ticket. I saw this thing with Emma Teal. I saw Jet. No, I didn't watch them. I just was. Yeah, I saw them pop up. And that's how I even know about this thing. Otherwise, I didn't. So I don't even know. I saw maybe a 10-second clip. So I don't even know what happened. Why they shut down in January. Like I said, the Ticket thing, this thing. Oh, and the dub one and the dub. That's all I've seen is his reaction videos to what's been going on.
Okay.
I feel like, oh, that's all I got to watch because I could be all caught up. So I feel like I wouldn't be doing YouTube justice if I don't want to do 2 hours on it. Like the clip I saw was Jay telling you should be deported, and then you telling him they should treat him like.
I'm gonna call the people that did.
Oh, I'm gonna call the people.
On you. Yeah. Which is aggressive. Definitely a joke.
It was very. Do you now before you said it? Be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened to him?
Yeah, I know the whole story, whole situation with Emmett Till without a doubt. But in the moment, to me, it was just going. Again, we've done racially based jokes before, back and forth, like more lighthearted. Of course, this one obviously went over the line. But in my head, I'm just like, oh, what's the comeback right away? Because I was laughing when he said deport the ICE joke, whatever.
Well, it's interesting because he said he was going to call ICE on you to deport you, and I was like, are you even in the US? I thought you were in Canada.
No, I'm in Canada, yeah, but I just heard the deportation joke, whatever, right? So in my head, I'm just like, let's think of a clapback.
But can I go back a sec? Why did he want to deport you?
That so the conversation was Ron asked the question, Team USA, what two players would you change? Something like that.
Well,
and then and Dom was just like, oh, he's gonna sabotage us. And Joe was like, yep, he's gonna do that. No, we can't let Jalen do that.
Oh, because you'd sabotage Team USA's to make Canada's chances better. Okay, that's actually not a bad idea.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So so that situation happened, and then again, clearly over the line joke. But the problem was
you knew what happened.
But of course, I know the history of it. Just obviously at that time, I'm just thinking.
You just meant more like, he's gonna deport me. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that joke, and then after all,
because the reaction again, I saw that their reaction that instantaneous as it was in the again. I had a 10-second clip.
I mean, I think the faces were like, "Whoa!" Chill was laughing, but I think again he didn't take in a certain way.
Well, I did. Listen, I'll be very transparent with you. Me and Jay are tight. And I said, if you got beef with Jalen, there's no show anymore with Jalen. Because if you got beef with Jalen, I got beef with Jalen. He said, no, we cool. I said, all right.
Yeah, we cool. Yeah, I was never
disrespect to you, but
no, I hear you. That's your boy. 100%.
He's like my brother. You know what I mean? Like,
To
me,
they
call him uncle. Like,
exactly. To me, it's like there's never any malicious intent behind it. I think most people could see that.
And I know you. And I know you well enough to know you were just joking, but
and that's the thing though. Then people jump in, and to me again, obviously I acknowledge the joke went too far, inappropriate joke, 100%. But then people are like, "Oh, Jalen's part of the KKK. He hates black people. He's ignorant to it." I'm like, I'm on a show with predominantly African Americans now for over.
Well, you didn't really have any black women on your top 10 most beautiful women in history, so that kind of. Mine was
I had Holly Berry. This is crazy.
Oh, you did Holly Berry.
Yeah. I'm just saying. So narrative changes to like, oh, he's this, he's that. I'm like, that's just a joke gone bad, inappropriate.
That's also the internet. That's also the internet.
Exactly. That's the internet thing. And then I'm just like, okay. And so suddenly everyone's like, oh, this and that. I'm just like, wait, this is not also the first time racial jokes have happened. We've gone back and forth with racial jokes all the time. I'm just saying, I've gone 7-Eleven jokes, apology jokes, a lot, whatever the case is. I just kind of laughed it off because it is funny. Like it's just funny. Never take it personal. But so people are just trying to change it to something else, which is when all right, So I guess that was that. But there was a whole discussion on it, this and that, and and now we're just kind of moving on.
And now it's over. You got what? And when did this happen? I don't even. Again, I'm so.
Was it Friday? But no, Thursday. I think Thursday.
Oh, so it just happened like a
Yeah,
couple days ago.
yeah, I think Thursday.
Oh, okay,
Thursday.
okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I did. So
Yeah.
I'm really up to date on the news.
Yeah, you are pretty up to date. You're pretty up to date. Yeah,
I think it took me longer to find out about the dub thing than it did this.
I think so, 100%. I think so, 100%.
Because there was a lot. Like I when I saw Dom, when I saw one of there was already videos back and forth, Dub explaining why he left.
That was one too.
And then Jay, what?
No, that was one too. Yeah, that was
No, he did a video on why he left. Then J Rob and Bama did a video about why he really left.
Yeah.
And then he did a rebuttal to their video, and then I guess Damo did a recap of everything that was good. So I was like 5 videos late on that one.
Yeah, sometimes people, it's for the content. People need to make content.
Yeah, well, now I'm thinking I should just start like just a whole like you know how they have like after Walking Dead, they had the Talking Dead where they talked about it. I'm just gonna do an after, even Howard Stern. They do Howard Stern, and then like after the show, they talk about what happened on the show.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just do an after show. Yeah. Talk about what was on the show. I don't know. But then I'd have to watch the show.
And then it was like I think Lowe's brother Omizi did a whole Twitter space on it. Again, he was accusing me of this and that. I saw that.
Lowe's brother? But I thought, but is Lowe still on?
No, he's not. Occasionally, no, but I mean, it's a different entity. You know, Al Kaya with Damo and them, but like that group, that space, they did it to me.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just kind of got to know them a little bit before. They did a whole space. Crazy accusations were thrown. Went back on my old tweets when I was in high school. Crazy. Where again, I'm like, what? And I go. I'm getting ping. I'm like, what in the world?
Obviously, and do you are you getting canceled?
It was full on cat. Obviously, I'm an idiot, not knowing what. We just gotta understand. I'm not like a full on internet dude. I'm real life, so I don't really think about deleting old tweets and that. But obviously, back in those days, using Twitter, and I'll own up to it, using words like the F word, R word, when you're 17.
Well, I don't care about the F word or the R word.
That
is there any other words?
Wait, N word, but N word too. Well, again, calling two friends to this, then, but again, all those words are bad. But again, when I'm 17, 18 years old, I'm like, okay, and they're saying, oh, this guy does this, he does that. I'm just like, hold on, this was for 12 years ago. One different time, different whatever going up to it. But again, I'm just like, if you really, again, to me, the whole accusation of again, he's this, he's that, racist, he's this, he's that. I'm like, again, I'm doing a show with these guys multiple times a week.
Yeah.
Normally, and I'm saying if that word was even in my vocabulary,
those guys weren't even there, right? They just caught wind of it and they wanted to create content, or they dislike you for some reason. I don't know.
I mean, it could be that. And then they're just like, oh, we don't care about this brown dude, this, stop making R&B music. You were this. I'm like, it just became an incredibly racist space towards the South Asian community. And then, there's also discussion of, also, they're asking me at first, why did you go that far when you heard a deportation joke or a deportation ice joke? And to me, I'm just like, wait, hold on. If you guys want to take, again, you could take that material joke as take it for what it is, which again, incredibly dark. But I'm just saying a deportation joke to a lot of people can mean a lot of things too. Like deportation to a lot of people who, again, can come from a place where my parents escaped the country from genocide can mean a lot. So you being deported means you're getting X'd. You know what I mean? Like you're getting brutally murdered, this and that. Like it could be a bad thing. So I'm just saying there seems to be now kind of this selective outrage on what's okay, what's tolerated, things of that nature. It's a whole different discussion ended up happening. So it kind of turned into something else, from joke gone bad to a whole other discussion of racism towards certain ethnic groups are more tolerated in certain spaces. I think you can make, that type of that type of discussion.
Yeah.
Which is true. I think in certain spaces, different events are going to kind of affect differently. If I was in a space with most, let's say, more Mexican individuals, I think an ICE joke or deportation would hit different, right? In this space, predominantly African Americans.
Yeah, and unfortunately, listen, that's the problem with the world today. If we're being like, if you go back and watch like Archie Bunker and Richard Pryor and Don, not who, I forget his name. Oh shoot. It's fat bald. See, I'm gonna do something I shouldn't do. The short, fat, bald guy, Don Rickles, right? Like those guys said like the most what we would consider to be offensive stuff today, but like there was a different tolerance for comedy because you get that it's a joke, and yeah. So look, the joke's a little too far,
Hmm.
right? A little too far.
No doubt.
But at the same time, I guess I see where you're gonna get deported. Yeah, well, I'm gonna get these guys to do this. Yeah, I can see where it came from.
And then we had a whole discussion about to me, comedy, there is no line. Like
there shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be. Like exactly, there shouldn't be. But obviously, I guess in certain situations, you got to be respectful of other people's lines to understand that nature. But I think it's just a comedy in general. Like you heard Ricky Gervais, like he's made jokes on, I think, like the Holocaust.
Sure.
You know, again, comedians. So that was a whole discussion too of what lines not to cross, what line, and that's different for everyone, of course.
I think when it comes to comedy, it's based on where the joke comes from. Meaning, is it meant to be a joke, or is it meant to
hurt someone,
negative effect and hurt someone? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think if it comes from a place of, hey, there's a sliver of truth to this, and so I'm going to play on that sliver of truth to make it funny, awkward, weird, whatever, to make you laugh. That's what comedy is, right? Like, just look around. Certain people get away with it, and certain people make the same exact joke, and they're okay. That's a problem. I'll listen, but there are certain lines, like you said, like when I was, thank God there's no Twitter. When I was 17, I was given by my group of friends an end card. I never used it, not even with them, but also never around anybody else. Why? I didn't need to.
Vocabulary, yeah, it just wasn't.
It wasn't in my vocabulary. I didn't need to. I could get what I wanted to say or the joke across or whatever, without. So what's the point of it? It's why would I use it? Just for shock? Not worth it. But look, I think back and I'm like, I'm sure I made jokes that were like, if someone else heard it, not understanding the context, they'd be like, oh
yeah, just with certain groups of friends or whatever, there's certain lines you can't joke around with. Yeah, exactly. It's not on the internet.
Or laugh, or I played basketball. I was the only white guy on a couple of my teams. Right. You don't think there were jokes that I probably shouldn't have laughed at that they made with each other that I was like, yeah, but it's funny. Like it was funny. I laughed.
I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, I hear you. Okay. So that's that. I feel like if I didn't ask you, people would be like,
it was a story. It was a lot. It got a lot of support. A lot of people didn't like it, but it was an interesting couple days. Again, I just had to remember it is the internet, not the real world.
Yeah, once it happens, it's gonna blow up, and then listen, I made a joke, not the same thing. I'm not comparing the two, but I made a joke. I think you know this, where someone had said, "You think that teachers get paid to do nothing in the summer? You're crazy." And I stitched it, and I said, "At least where I live, you do get paid to do nothing in the summer because you don't have the option. You're paid over 12 months, and your pay, the average, I don't know if you know this, the average elementary school teacher in Ontario gets paid $85,000.
Solid wage,
and it's significantly higher than the average wage in Ontario, so that's good. I'm not saying, now again, I wasn't saying it was enough, it was too much, it was, their work isn't hard. What I said was, don't complain about the summers off. Complain about other stuff, but don't complain about getting the summers off, because where I live, $85,000 is significantly more than the average person gets paid. It is divided up over 12 months. You don't have a choice, so you are getting paid for the full year. 19% of you make over $100,000, because there's a thing in Ontario called the Sunshine List, and every teacher who makes over $100,000 is on that list, so you can see their names and you know what percentage it is of total teachers in the province. At least at the school that my kids were at, I took them out, right? I would see a teacher every single day. A number of teachers would pull in, be running out of their car as the bell would ring, and they'd be the first ones running back to their cars at the end of the day at 3:00. So I'm like, so you work 9 to 3, you get 2 months off in the summer, you get $85,000 a year. Oh, by the way, and you can confirm this, the best pension plan.
Oh yeah, they're known as the up.
Like everybody wants to be in their pension plan. I said, it's a pretty 13 whatever it is, sick days, this many weeks off. I said, you're complaining? Like now, if there's now, and then of course people say, well, I only get paid $30,000 and I live in Mississippi and I get no days off. And I'm there 7:00 every morning and I don't leave until 9 p.m. I'm like, if you're getting paid $30,000 a year in Mississippi to teach, and you got to be there 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., you're in the wrong job, because you can go work at Costco and make more money than that. And I said, and if all you're complaining about is the money, you didn't get into teaching for money. And
That's
so
true.
the point of all this was, again, it was a short little, yeah, you do get paid over the summer. Here's what happens in my community. You work 9 to 3, you get all the days off in the world you want. You get paid $85,000 a year, blah, blah, blah. Like, you shouldn't be complaining about your summers off. That was the key point. And they came at me like I stole the last pizza slice. Like, I mean, you suck. You're the worst. You sound like a guy who only sees his kids every weekend. Yeah. If my kids went to your school, I would have my kids beat your kids up.
Well, that's crazy.
Like, I'd run you over with my car. And I'm like, really? You want to know why you're only getting paid $30,000? It's because if that's your reaction to a TikTok, is to run my children over, run me over with your car because I said something you didn't like, respectfully, with facts, by the way. Actually, I said unlimited days off, which isn't true, but it is true. So it's not true. You get X amount of paid days off at 100%. I think it's like 13 or 20, something like that. And then you get up to 120 days off at 90%. So like if you have like a bereavement, something health wise, whatever, 120 days, just think about it. They're only working
4 months. You know what I'm saying?
Only working 200 days. And now granted, something has to go wrong. You get 90%, but then you have unlimited days off at 0 pay. So, okay. Technically they do have unlimited days, but it came across as unlimited paid days. And so that part was incorrect. But everything else, again, was true. But I'm like, coming out, I mean, there were people who still have them up. You could probably go find them, on Twitter. This guy's a moron. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's never taught a day in his life, which, by the way, as you know, or don't know, I don't know, for a couple of years, I did work in the school.
Coaching?
I was the chair of school council. I was so involved with my kids, with school. Like, I think, you see my kids all the time. We're kind of gross, Miss Fluent and I, and the little Miss Fluent and Fluent Junior. Like, you see my kid popping on the show all the time. So like, we're very, very close, and I'm very involved. Like, I coach his basketball team, I'm coaching his baseball team, all that. I'm the loudest dance dad at my daughter's dance competitions, like all that kind of stuff. And so, but like, if I showed you the death threats, the things about my kids, and I'm like,
crazy.
How can you say I'm a teacher and then say, and your kid should be, pounded, for what you said on that TikTok, should be beaten up? And it's like, those two things don't make sense. But anyways, so my point is, if I got that from that, I can only imagine some of the stuff that
Push
you
back on that. A lot of again, had a lot of support too. People have been like, guys, he made a bad joke, apologize, keep it moving.
Oh yeah, and I got support too, because they were like, well, everything you said was true. So like, when you have facts on your side, it's the crazies and the ones that are trying to, either get clicks or just to create an issue, and that sort of thing. So let's get into basketball, because that's really what we want to do. So Team USA exhibition game against South Sudan. You didn't look this up, correct?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to look it up because I have no idea. Let's see if you can name. I'm curious if I want to do which thing I want to do. I either want to do.
I can only name one because I saw his interview after the game. I before that I had no idea who was on the team. I had zero recollection, no idea on who was on Sudan's team. I saw one player give an interview after the game on TikTok.
Okay, who's the player that you know?
Wenyan Gabriel.
Okay, so everyone knows what he plays in the NBA, correct?
He was on the Lakers for a bit. Was it last year? Was he starting? The year before? Was it last year? He was starting the year before, but he was starting for the Lakers for a couple of games.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
that's why I know.
exactly.
And I think now he plays for Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Okay.
FYI, I'm the new head coach of JCC Maccabi Warriors of the youth basketball league here in Ontario.
Are you guys good?
I don't know. I just got the job. I haven't even picked a roster yet.
So what level of basketball is that?
We are this year. I'm going to be coaching U12.
Okay.
So
it'll be like above house league or rep or
no, it's right. No, we're rep. We're traveling.
Okay.
Yeah. We're the equivalent of like an AAU team in the US, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Rep team. Championship. So yes, if you're in the Richmond Hill, Thornhill, Vaughan area and you want to be part of the best team ever, with an excellent facility.
Does Richmond Hill, Vaughan, do they produce good quality basketball players? I mean,
Andrew Wiggins is from Vaughan.
Okay, there's one. Gotcha.
I'm sure there's more. I'm so out of touch with who's come out of Canada. Like people say, "Oh, you like this guy? He's Canadian." I'm like, "For real? That's awesome."
I was just thinking, like when I was in high school, what cities were considered the best in basketball in Ontario? Trying that time. I mean, we had a couple guys go who actually left their high school, went to the States for like their grade 11, 12 years, did that thing. This was in Brampton at the time. I want to say I feel Brampton was okay. Mississauga, strong players. I did play poker for a couple days actually in a row at Pickering Casino with Corey Joseph's dad, and he does whole basketball. Yeah, and he does the whole basketball program in Whitby. He was telling me in the Whitby area. He basically does it like every day in the summertime, coaching.
Oh, does he? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. He much later than me, or than I. Corey Joseph went to my high school.
There it is. Yeah, good guy. Father's a good guy, chill guy.
And let's be clear, 20 years later.
Yeah, he does say that. Yeah.
But you know, my son, I was joking with him. He goes, "What do you mean he went to the what?" He's like, he's like 100 years younger than you. And I'm like, we didn't go at the same time. He just years later.
Yeah. That's cool. Put a picture of him up or somewhere. Be like, Corey Joseph went here.
No, actually, he had Nike built him a new gym.
Oh, on his name?
I don't know if it's in his name or not, but it was because of him that they built him a gym. Yeah. I haven't been back since the last day of school.
Gotcha. Say that. Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't been back to my high school either.
I'm not that guy. I know guys, and I'm not saying anything negative about them, but I know guys who have gone back to the school and they would hang out with the basketball coach or they would whatever. And I'm like, I literally last day of school, I left. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go.
You didn't go to your prom?
Nah.
Damn.
Nah, I was busy. I had things to do.
What, at 18, 17?
I was busy. And then in our school is very weird. I believe they do, I think it was called commencement.
Okay,
in September.
Yeah, we did that too. Yeah, we did that too.
Did you? Okay.
I didn't go to that. Yeah, I didn't go to that one.
Well, yeah, I was in the US. I had gone to university, right?
Exactly.
So I got like a Mr. Basketball award, and I got all this kind of stuff. I wasn't even there for that. Oh, do you want to come pick it up? I'm like, mail it, send it to my parents. Like I don't.
Yeah, you're moving on 100%.
They probably still have the check for $30 or whatever the hell they gave me as part of that. I won like the math. I was a smart kid. Math award, basketball award, something else I got. I don't know. Obviously my graduation, my diploma, whatever. And from that last day in June, whatever, never set foot in there again. Never watched a basketball game. Never went to a football game. I don't even think they play. I think they actually stopped playing football now. It's been so long, but I looked at it. I was telling my son how I used to walk up 10 feet of snow uphill.
Yeah, let him know. Struggle back.
And he's like, no, you didn't. I said, no, for real, because where the school is, there's a hill that goes up, and our house was at the top of that hill, and so I would cut through the people's backyards because it would take me like 20 minutes to walk around, but I could, 7 minutes go up the hill, right in the snow. And I said, see, and when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this doesn't even look like the same school, because the school that I went to, like where our track and football field used to be, there's like a whole new building there now. It's like so it looks like completely different. And so that's the only reason I even know, because oh yeah, they built this and they built that. I was like, oh cool, but I've never set foot in again. I would never had any interest in
going back.
There was no. His high school is done.
Like, I have teachers on Facebook who want to have a conversation or go out.
Really?
Link up
you
further. Yeah, some teachers. Yeah, they're good teachers. Good teachers.
Well, that's. I'm not saying I had bad teachers. I'm just like, I didn't peak in high school.
I got you.
So, and I'm not knocking, because I get it why people do it. I didn't peak in high school, so I had no interest in going back. And so it's like I feel like someone who's like that was their best days.
They want to go
hold on to it because it's like that's when I was cool, or that's when I was whatever. And I laugh because I heard it on, I want to say it was Barstool or something, where they were making fun of, you ever like, you're 14 years old, 17 years old, whatever, and one of the assistant coaches like, this is the greatest moment of your life. It never gets better than this. I'm like, I hope that dude is full of crap, because if this is the best of my, we're in trouble.
There's a TikToker who's very famous for it. He makes these skits where that guy who was the high school quarterback, but didn't make the league because his finger broke or his knee. So now he has he's working at the bar in his hometown. Is that the guy with the mustache
and he comes up with funny names? And he's like,
I don't think this guy has a mustache. Just a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Maybe one of the I forgot his name, but yeah, that story does hold true. There are definitely people who want to relive their glory years, the prom king, whatever.
They made a whole running joke for years on, I don't know if you ever watched the show Married with Children, right? Al Bundy scored 4 touchdowns in one game at Polk High, like now he's a shoe salesman, married to a succubus, and like all he lives is like, he wears his Polk High jacket. It's like scored 4 touchdowns in one game, right? Like
high school national champions.
High school, bro. Like, get out of here, man. Like, if that's the peak of your life. Okay, so I'm gonna let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna say a name.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna tell me if they're actually a player on the team. Taechung Partisan.
Taechung Partisan?
Yes.
No.
Carlick Jones.
Carlick Jones? No.
That is the shooting guard. He's 6 foot tall. You're right. Taechung Partisan is 2 names of 2 of the teams they played for put together.
Okay.
I'm gonna get you on some. Kaman Maluch.
Yes.
Correct. Dang.
I feel like it's not, but Dang could definitely be. Luol Deng's our coach. I know that. I learned that.
So is Dang a player, yes or no?
No, I don't think he's a player.
My Jock Dang.
My Jock Dang. Majuk Dang, maybe is how you pronounce? Yes. We'll say that maybe. I don't know.
Correct.
There's not too many racial implications. I don't know if I should be doing this right now with these names.
Peter Jock.
Peter Jock, no.
He is 6'6" shooting guard.
Okay.
Cock bar.
Clock bar.
Hawk bar.
Hawk bar.
Hawk. Like a rooster. Cock bar.
No.
He is. He's the center. 6'11". Sunday Dang.
Sunday Dang. No, you just made that up because it's Sunday.
Sunday Deck.
Sunday Deck. Yes, we'll say that one. Yes.
Correct. He is a 6'5" center.
Oh man.
All right. Last one is this player on the South Sudan basketball team. Nuni Omat.
Nuni Omat. I'll say yes.
Correct. He's 6'9", small forward.
Just flipping coins out here. Yes, no,
he plays
yes.
for the Taechung Suns in the T1 league in China. So,
now you're more fluent.
There you go.
Shout out Sudan. They gave the U.S. a run for their money.
Really, I would say shame on you, U.S.
I mean, sure. U.S. should have played better. Clearly, they came out flat, not taking them serious for them to be down that much with that talent. Got saved by the GOAT LeBron James at the end. But yeah, you could definitely say that. But again, kind of the prelims of the Olympics, I don't think they'll come out flat again. I think sometimes a game like this can be good for a team with that much talent, so they know not to, come out playing around next time.
Isn't it sad?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know what everyone's expecting me to say, and I'm not going to say it. Isn't it sad that they needed to be saved? Because they were. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Saved by LeBron James doing what he always should do. Doing what he always should do, which is use his size, his strength, his athleticism, and go to the rim and get the last layup, the last shot, the last whatever. Because let's be honest, NBA LeBron would have driven and kicked it out to someone for a wide open three who would have missed it. Let's be honest. And then they lose that game.
Yeah.
And he would have said, but I made the right play and I'd make it again. That's what he should be doing, correct?
Yeah. No. Attack the rim.
All right. So let's just go through. Because I don't know if you saw Derek White make an alley-oop attempt to Anthony Davis. Did you see that?
No, I didn't know.
Play?
Was it that good? No.
It was horrible.
Okay.
It looked bad from the jump, and Anthony Davis looked like he couldn't jump over a piece of paper.
Okay.
It was bad, and they missed, and that was so okay. So I don't even know where there's so much to talk about. Okay, LeBron James did save them. I agree. Doing what he should have done and should do more often is taking it to the hole like that. What is when you look at this and you see that roster, and people say I said they have the potential to be the greatest Team USA ever because on paper they have more talent than any team has ever had. When you see a game like this, do you think they have any shot at being considered the greatest Team USA ever?
I mean, if they start the Olympics and beat every team by 20 points, that conversation will be had again. Obviously, this close game is going to slow down those conversations. I just wouldn't look too much into it because, one, I think the idea that they're going to beat teams by the average margin that 92 Dream Team did, that'll never happen again. In all likelihood, never happen just because the world is, to me, again, there's more good players. The world sort of caught up. So that the whole margin of victory thing, comparing it back then to now is a strange game to play.
Okay, let's pause there because I struggle with this one.
Okay.
There's more good players.
Well, we've had this conversation before too, where you did make a good point of teams back then. It was like what Yugoslavia or like combined nations that are split up now. So the teams you could say we're stronger. I just think basketball is just more of a global sport because of that team for one. So there's just
I agree that it is more of a global sport. I agree, and that Dream Team probably did inspire tons of youth around the world to play basketball. But if I look at Team USA and I say LeBron James, Joel Embiid, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, Derek White, I can't believe I'm saying his name. What team even has 5 players anywhere close to that caliber?
Oh yeah, 5 players close to that caliber. I do think some teams, if you put their starting lineup up, they might have 2 players on their starting lineup who could start for USA. But no one.
So if I have 15 guys that good and you have 2, you haven't caught up, right? Like, no offense, that is a bullshit excuse by people who are trying to say, well, that's why these teams are better is because the world has gotten better. And I agree that the world has gotten better, but the US is still by far the best. So, okay, the Dream Team only had to go against 1 guy when they had 10. Because let's be honest, that Dream Team had flaws. It had lots of flaws because I've already told you, I think I've told you, it could have been significantly better. Even for their time, it could have been better. That team had flaws. And so they were going against 1 guy. Okay, well, now you got 2. Maybe one team has 3. Maybe. Well, I'm rolling out 15. I can go the full game, full court, and I have 90% more talent on the court than you do at all times. So the excuse that the world has gotten better is just that. It's an excuse because, yes, they've gotten better. They haven't caught up. Again, unless you can tell me, here's a team that they have the skill and talent that the U.S. does.
Yeah, there's no team I think are obviously going to match up with the U.S. in skill and talent. But do I think the way basketball is played in the NBA in America is more taught in other places now than then?
No, it's not.
You don't think so? Okay,
I know for a fact it's not.
Yeah, basketball is different. Do you think there's more high level coaches worldwide than there was back in the day?
Really? Is that what you think?
No, I'm asking. I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is there more high level coaching basketball programs around the world where maybe the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth best players on those teams are better than the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth best player on the team in those weaker nations in 92 or 96?
Well, is there better coaching? Is there better players? Yes, I agree. There's better coaching and there's better players.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. However, the one thing that made those teams strong in those days and why they had to even create the dream team was because those players were playing professionally together. They had a national team that was playing together. And so they would come and they'd throw a bunch of college kids in the US together and they'd have to play against grown men who were professionals who played together for the national team year in, year out, and they had no shot. But now, guess what? All those great players, all those phenomenal players who, the world has gotten better, guess where they play? They play in the NBA.
Yeah.
So they're not playing with those guys all the time anymore. They're playing in the NBA all the time. Right? They're not over there working with the national team. Now, every year, 2 years, 4 years, whatever, they come together and they play for their national team. But they're over here playing the American style, the NBA style of play. I shouldn't say the American style, the NBA style of play.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if anything, the team's actually probably, although more skilled, more talented, is the team not worse because they're not playing together all the time?
Yeah, less cohesiveness, less team. I understand what you're saying. When you're playing as a team together for a long time, you can build, when the other player's going to be. You learn how to play off each other, play with each other. For sure, that's definitely a benefit back in the day. Yeah, you make a good point with that. I mean, I can't really combat you on that. You do make a good point on that.
I'm trying. I want to hear. Let me. Who do you think are some of the better teams?
Oh, Canada. I think Canada might have the second best roster.
Awesome.
France. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at Let's look at Canada's roster. If they'll let me, I'm getting pushback. Canada. Well, we know some of them.
Yeah. So SGA could start for Team USA.
Yes.
Probably, he would start for Team USA.
Would he though? Actually, would he? Now that I think about it,
that 2 or 3 guard spot,
because Team USA is starting. I don't even know who they're starting. If they're starting LeBron at the point, and Steph Curry or Devin Booker at the 2, Jason Tatum at the 3.
SGA has a case to be better than Booker, Tatum, Anthony Edwards, and those boys. Steph, you definitely want to. Steph, LeBron, you start for sure. AD, I think you start for sure.
Jason Tatum starting. AD is starting. Joel Embiid is starting.
But to me, SGA versus Tatum,
LeBron, Embiid,
Tatum,
Anthony Davis. Those 4 are starting.
Yeah.
So
Anthony Edwards started a game too, but I think that was earlier.
Okay. So is SJ better than? And I think you might be right. Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Therese Halliburton, Bam, and Derek White. Okay, he has a shot. There's your one. Who else?
Other than that, on Team Canada, who's starting?
Yeah.
No one else is starting.
Alexander Walker, RJ Barrett, Cam Birch, Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, and I love all these guys. Don't get me wrong. Melvin, Trey Lyle, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray
could make a bench.
No, Jamal Murray isn't even an all-star with these guys with Team USA against the guys on Team USA. He's not. He doesn't even make the all-star team.
I hear you. I might. You can make the case for him over again.
Okay, you can make and I did say 2. Did say 2.
That's only 2.
That might be your second. Andrew again, and I love all these guys. Andrew Nemhart from Aurora. Shout out. Kelly Olynyk, Dwight Powell. No. Okay. Who's next?
After those 2, again, Canada, they're all I think Canada has how many? Essentially, everyone on the roster is NBA players, right? Everyone on the roster plays in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken. I do think it's interesting to see how much when you have, let's say, when you have 10 All-Stars on your team, right? Let's say USA, 10 All-Star caliber players, let's say 10 or 11, whatever they have. I mean, when it comes down to it, when you're in the medal round, you're only going to have, in all likelihood, an 8-man rotation. Maybe not if you're stretching, but you're going to have your 5 starters.
Yep.
I'd say 1 or 2 key guys off the bench, maybe 8th guy to play 10 minutes.
So if you've got 8 guys that are better than and only 2 from another team, again, okay, that's Canada. Who else do we say? Is it France?
France would have to be, yeah.
Okay, France has Wemby, who's very young but very talented. Andrew,
Rudy Gobert,
Nicholas Batum, Evan Fournier, we'd probably say is their 3rd best player after Rudy Gobert and Victor.
You don't have a Fournier. Evan Fournier is one of those guys. He's
an Olympic beast. He's an Olympic beast. Those 3 guys match up against the US 10.
Of course not. I mean, if you look at skill set for
let me put it in. I get it. It's a 1-game tournament. And that's what kind of makes it anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is, if this was an NBA season starting, and you had the USA roster and all the other teams had their roster, you're thinking this team's going 82-0.
Oh yeah, I think they're winning. They're definitely breaking the single game.
Season. So let's see who. Germany, Bonga, Teese, Silva.
Yeah, no.
Who's their best player? Franz Wagner.
Franz Wagner probably the best player. Yeah, he's probably the best
Dennis Schroeder. Okay, that team's up. Greece. Love Giannis. Costa Papakoulou. Yanulis Larzakis.
Is his brother on the team too?
Who?
Giannis' brother on the team?
Yeah, Kostas.
Yeah, Kostas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kostas on the team. Vasilis Haralampopoulos. Like, you'd have never heard of any of these guys.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm actually saying their names pretty good. Get out of here.
Well, you better if you were. Yeah.
I'm saying them fast. No, because normally I want to sound them out. I want to be like Panayotis Galatzakis. Oh, okay. Yeah. I said that one actually very good, I should say. Okay, so Greece is out. Do I even need to bring up Japan?
No, I don't even think we need to talk about any of the teams.
Right, Yatu Watanabe and Rui Hachimura are the best 2 players. Let's be honest.
That's a nice little duo for Japan, though. Shout out Japan.
No, again, I'm not saying that they're bad. They've come they're like those Virginia Slims. They've come a long way, baby. But they're nowhere near. So when you say, "Oh, the world has gotten better," yeah, but okay, let's go. Serbia might be the only other one. So Serbia, you've got Bogdan Bogdanovic, you've got Nikola Jokic, and then when you don't even have NBA talent, when you don't even have 4 guys, I'll even say 4. When you don't have 4 guys that are NBA talent and you're going up against 12 all NBA guys, right? Like, every person on this roster is either all NBA, all defense, or an all-star. Correct?
Yep.
Hold on. I want to make sure I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 guys that are all NBA, all defense, or all-star players. And you can't find me 4 guys to make an NBA roster.
On Sudan.
Right?
Yep.
Anything is possible? Sure. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Absolutely. But when you say they've caught up, that's a lie. They haven't caught up. Have they gotten better? Yes, I'm telling you, they've gotten better.
They've gotten better, but not caught up. I hear you. So they haven't caught up.
Right? Like, I guarantee you, if I don't even know if I can find this.
Yeah.
1992 Olympic men's basketball
teams
rosters. Like, I bet you I can find teams
with 2 to 3 NBA guys
that have 2 to 3 NBA caliber player. Mark, okay, this is Team USA. Good luck. Good. This is the downside of it being so long ago. Like, finding the other teams. Here we go. Let me look at the schedule. Maybe I can click on. All right, let's look at Lithuania. Okay, Lithuania had Sarunas Marcelonis, who was a very, very good NBA player, right? Arvydas Sabonis, who was a very good player. People don't realize how good he was before he got to the NBA, because by the time he got to the NBA, he had a lot of injuries. So there's two. I can stop because now it's right, because they had two, you had two. Croatia, Drazen Petrovic, Dino Raja, Tony Kukoc. There's three NBA talent. Drazen Petrovic was
shooter. Like so.
Tony Kukoc was a sixth man in the NBA. So there's two teams already that have more talent than the teams today.
Except for Canada, basically. Except for Canada.
I'm 100% giving you Canada. Canada has, I
mean, France. I mean, Rudy Gobert, Wemby. I mean, Batum is old. Fournier. I guess, Kukoc and Drazen are better than Fournier for sure, relative to their era too, and even as players probably. Okay, it's probably only Canada.
I don't think I'm going to find anything here with Puerto Rico, but I'll look.
Spain in their golden era, or you could say their golden generation, whatever it is, was pretty elite. The Gasol brothers, Rudy Fernandez,
sure,
Rubio.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, but I hear you. I hear your point.
My point is, if I can go back and find guys, that where we're like again, Greece has one guy who's elite, right? Greece has one guy who's elite and nothing else, right? But so when I say a team that has Drazen Petrovic, Dino Raja, and Tony Kukoc, none of them are as good as Giannis, but the three of them combined are better than Giannis and his brother and Haralambo, like, you know what I mean, like, than random dude. So again, when you see a team like South Sudan where you can name one player who played for the Lakers, and he wasn't a superstar player, he wasn't an all NBA player, wasn't an all defensive player, wasn't an all-star, and you're going against 12 all-stars, you should be blowing these teams out. You should be beating them. I'm sorry, you don't like it, you should. And when you're not, shame on you. And again, I think I'm giving you the exception of Canada. Because the Canadian team is, I think the Canadian, but even the Canadian team, again, although they all play in the NBA, there's two guys that would crack the U.S. roster. Two.
Yeah, two star level guys for sure.
There's only two. No, if SGA and Jamal Murray were U.S. players, they not guaranteed, but they could crack that. I think SGA more so than Jamal. They could crack that roster, right? Maybe take out Derek White, and somebody else, maybe. So I would give you only two guys could crack that roster.
I hear you.
So they're not close. They haven't caught up, right? Like, unless you're saying and that's the best one. We're agreeing that Canada's the best one. Who could crack from Serbia? Jokic? Who else?
Yeah, other than Jokic, nobody would crack that team.
Who would crack the roster from France?
Oh, I mean,
because are you putting Wemby over Bam and Joel Embiid right now today?
That's the thing. Like the Rudy Wemby thing, you might get one of them in there. I don't know if you get both.
So I'll give you both. You only got two guys on that team that'll crack this roster. So when I've got 10 more guys than you
gotta blow them out.
How can we say that we don't have enough? And when I say
I don't think, they definitely have enough. They just played bad, clearly. Like, it's on them. Like, there's no excuses. They played bad, slow start, didn't take Sudan serious. That's on the players. That's on the coaches.
Anthony Davis going 4 of 12. Jason Tatum being Jason Tatum, 3 of 8, 0 of 3 from 3. He is not the guy. Sorry.
Embiid looks awful. Embiid looks so bad out there.
Embiid shouldn't even be playing on this team. He's like, it's his third country.
Hey, he got a citizenship. I'm not touching that. He's a citizen.
It's his third country, though.
I hear you.
His third country. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. And just to be fair, I didn't like it when Hakeem played for Team USA. Patrick Ewing, although Patrick Ewing probably had more right than anybody else. If you're not born there, I think, again, I've said this before, and so I'm not going to beat it to death, but I think if you're not born there and it's the U.S., you can't play.
Slippery
And the reason
slope.
I say that is the rest of the world needs the help.
That's
The rest
okay.
of the world needs the help. USA doesn't need it.
For the betterment of basketball as a
For
global.
the betterment of basketball, if Joel Embiid played for, like, honestly, like maybe all the African-born players should pick a country.
Maybe pretty
And be
solid.
like, okay, we're all going to play for
Yep.
Nigeria. We're all going to play for where is Pascal Siakam, Joel Embiid? They're
Let me double check where Pascal Siakam's from.
Cameroon.
Yeah.
I think they're from Cameroon. Pick Cameroon, pick Kenya, pick Nigeria. Like, pick one and say, hey, we're all going to become citizens of this country and play there.
Could Jokic and Luka play together?
I think Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid didn't pick France because they're good at center. They got Rudy Gobert and Victor.
Yeah, I don't think you could play those three together.
No, you couldn't. I think they were fine.
There was talk about playing before he made the decision. Talk about playing Wemby at the 3, Joel Embiid at the 4, and Rudy at the 5.
That
So
would be
probably try it, but
that lineup would be insane defensively. At least, like I think they'd be, the quicker guards. I don't know what else they have, but again, Anthony Edwards 4-11, Steph Curry 4 of 11. Although Joel Embiid had a good game, 5 of 6, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. He played, 18 minutes, scored 14 points, had 7 rebounds. Like, I'm just saying.
A couple of these guys, just a bad day to have bad shooting games altogether. Defensively, I think Anthony Davis and Bam together defensively is insane what they're doing. But I think some of the perimeter guys could definitely work defensively or need work defensively for sure. But got to make shots.
So you think they have enough and that they win?
Yeah, I still think the USA wins, and they should win relatively. Again, I think
they don't win gold easily. Can they be considered the best U.S. team ever?
If they don't win gold, again, in a one-game tournament, they can't. They can't. Even whether that's right or wrong, we could debate that, but they can't if you don't win gold. And I don't even think
what if they win, but it's close.
The win, but it's close. We could have if they win, but it's close. I mean, look, like winning is winning. I understand blowing out teams you can see impressive, but winning a close game is impressive too, in a lot of ways. So
you think the 08 Dream Team or Redeem Team that had to go into overtime with Spain, like that's a dominant performance?
Great team. Great team. I think that Spain team was just great too. I'm just giving respect to that Spain team. I don't think it takes anything away from Team USA going to overtime against Spain. Just because that Spain team, I think, was phenomenal. Played great too. Again, just a talented team. So I don't think a close win or overtime win takes away from a team's greatness.
Who was on the 08 Redeem Team?
That was Kobe, LeBron, D Wade, Melo, Michael Redd, I believe, Jason Kidd. Were there bigs? Were the Carlos Boozer, Chris Bosh?
Boozer, Jason Kidd, LeBron James, Darren Williams, Michael Redd, Dwayne Wade, Kobe, the captain, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Tayshaun Prince, and Carmelo Anthony. Okay, that team's stacked. Your last two players, Michael Redd. Yeah. Okay. Underrated.
Probably the best shooter on the team.
Tayshaun Prince, going to be one of the best defenders on the team.
The Derek White role, in a sense.
The Derek White, yeah, exactly. Okay, here's Spain's roster. Alex Mumbrú, Bernie Rodriguez, Carlos Jimenez, Felipe Reyes, Jorge Garbajosa.
Nice.
By the way. Juan Carlos Navarro, Marc Gasol, Pau Gasol.
Nice.
Raul Lopez, Ricky Rubio.
Nice.
Rudy Fernandez.
Nice.
Jose Calderon.
Nice. That's a nice team.
How many of those make Team USA?
Pau Gasol, I think, is probably better than Carlos Boozer.
Okay.
I want to say the Marc Gasol thing. Do they take Mark and Pau? Mark will be an interesting conversation. I don't think 2008 Marc Gasol, not over Bosh. Tayshaun, Michael Red were a different type of player.
None of them are over Dwight Howard at that point in their career.
Yeah, none of them are over Dwight.
Agree
Yeah,
with you,
none of them are
Powell
over
over Carlos.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Powell's over Carlos Boozer at that point. But maybe.
2008?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, other than that,
So there's two guys that make the team.
but again, that team was just they played well together. You know what I mean? Like, you understand? We watched. They played well together. I think those guys kind of grew up playing together too. A lot of them. And that was a story behind that Spain team as well.
That's my point.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I can't disagree with that.
That is my point. That we're looking at these teams and saying they're great because we're looking at the collection of players.
Mm-hmm.
And when you like even the Dream Team, I think the Dream Team is overrated because you look at the names and you think, there's 12 Hall of Famers. Actually, everyone on that team's in the Hall of Fame, in the Basketball Hall of Fame, because I believe Christian Laettner, because of what he did in college, is so every player on that team's in the Hall of Fame. But when you look at it closer, right? Bird had a broken back. Yeah. Magic, had contracted HIV, and who knows where his head was at. He wasn't in game, like he didn't play in the NBA. He wasn't in game shape. Jordan actually played poorly. Jordan played poorly. Now, granted, he was gambling, drinking, golfing all the time. Like he didn't take it seriously. He already had a gold medal, but also he didn't play well. Charles Barkley, probably the best player on the team, or played the best, not the best player on the team. Jordan's the best player on the team, but Charles Barkley played the best. That's it. But they played well together. And I think that overshadows, or I don't think people talk enough about that. And so that is part of my issue with Team USA is the rest of the world hasn't caught up talent-wise. I just proved it. The rest of the world hasn't caught up skill-wise. I just proved it. In 2008, again, that team that went into overtime with them, again, only 2 players would crack the Team USA roster. So it's not that their talent is better. It's not that their skill is better. Mm-hmm. It's who played better as a team. That's my problem with NBA with the NBA in general. Is it's a bunch of guys who do their thing and they don't realize team. So now I'm gonna get on the soapbox here for a second. Mm-hmm. That's why when I tell you, LeBron played, and I'm picking on LeBron because he's your guy and he's easy to pick on.
LeBron James.
Oh, he played such better competition. Look at this team. They had this person and this person. Go back to the 90s. The Knicks only had Patrick Ewing. No, actually what the Knicks had was Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, Derek Harper, John Starks, Charles Smith, like a slew of guys who played collectively far above where any one of their star status would be. Whereas now you have a team with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, who've got talent through the roof, but they can't play together, so they're garbage. They're getting swept out of the first round of the playoffs. And people look at that team and say, well, that team is so stacked. This Knicks team in the 90s stunk. No, that's not how basketball works. Yes, you need a star player, but they were built to play a certain way, right? Like the triangle offense is a great example of I can have lesser players playing in the triangle offense if they understand it, and it'll work better than I have the best players in the world who don't understand it. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with that. Like you said, that Knicks team again, just because they don't have the star power.
The collection
and the Suns team is a great example of a collection of stars not being as good as they are on paper.
Look at it was the same thing in Brooklyn. Notice the theme.
Kevin Durant, he's on Team USA too.
Although he's actually not playing. And that's the best part. People will start, Kevin Durant's hurt. That's why. Really? That's why. Kevin Durant's that's why. Then they should replace him. They should send Jaylen Brown, who should have been there in the first place. But that so when you say they've caught up, I guess my question is, have they actually caught up?
No, they haven't caught up. Again, I think the world's gotten better, but they haven't caught up for sure.
All right. So let's go to my favorite topic.
Mhm.
For those that don't know, money.
Talk
The
about it.
WNBA apparently has a deal in place, a media rights deal worth $2.2 billion over 11 years. And it includes ESPN, NBC, and Amazon. You reached out and you said, oh, that's good, right? Is it?
From where they were, I think their old deal was at 60 million a season, something along those lines, and now they're at 200 million, so over 3x. That's a big jump. I mean, that's a bigger jump than the NBA, right? They're not tripling their revenue. Obviously, they're at another level, but tripling your the revenue you're going to make from TV money from your old deal to a new deal is always a good thing. So I believe if you triple that, you're going to see $1 million contracts, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, some of the highest paid players are in the $400,000 or $500,000 range. So if you triple it, you're going to see WNBA for the first time have players making 7 figures, which is great. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good thing for the league. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, clearly doing their thing, bringing the eyes, setting rookie records and WNBA records for that matter. But yeah, solid thing for the WNBA. What do you think?
I think it's a joke. I
think okay.
I think it's $200 million a year, and they've already gone in the last since they signed their last deal. Their revenue already went in the last 4 years from 60 million to 200 million a year already.
So you think locking in for that
their revenue is already $200 million a year. That's what it is. That was last year.
Their revenue from or you mean like the money the league made revenue or like
no, not made. That's net.
Revenue, revenue,
money that came in.
Okay.
Right? So the revenue that came in last year was $200 million.
But that's not just from TV deals. That's from everything. I thought
everything is 200 million. Everything $200 million. Well, they're probably on pace to be at 400 million this year.
So you think for them to sign a long-term deal where they're capped at 200 million of the TV deal, they're leaving a lot of money on the table?
They're not capped. So they're in a position where they can increase earnings, and if they do additional packages, they can push it to just over $250 million a year.
Okay.
In comparison, and I'm not comparing it to the NBA, they're about to sign an 11-year, $76 billion deal.
So 11 years, 76 billion.
Do we believe that the WNBA is worth $2 billion in TV deal and the NBA 76 billion?
So NBA, so I mean, average out now, it's about like what, 7 billion a year.
30 times more.
Do I think the NBA is 30 times more than WNBA? I mean, I think it's possible. It's a lot. I think it's possible.
I think the WNBA is doing itself a disservice. I think $500 million a year should have been the number.
I mean, in terms of numbers, again, I'd have to go look at
that's an 11-year deal. That's an 11-year deal at about 10.5 billion. I think that would give them significant growth because they're making 200 million in revenue without a big TV deal.
Yep.
So
I think for the WNBA, again, the actual figure of what they deserve a year, I would have to look into the numbers, kind of break down how these companies are giving out these deals, what they're basing it on. I will say maybe a shorter term deal, knowing Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and a new draft class coming in, which has some hype too, knowing that the growth is going to be there. Maybe you could sign a 10-year deal, but an opt out after 2 or 3 to renegotiate. Something along those lines.
That's why they want the 11 years. Now the biggest issue actually isn't even for them. It's not really the deal. That's the issue. Although that's part of the issue because there's only so much to pay out of. But the real issue is that they have a deal where they get a percentage of the incremental revenue, which means they get a percentage of the growth,
Mhm.
or the growth over target.
The growth
there's
over target. Ooh, that's tricky.
So whereas the NBA gets 50% of all revenue generated, 50% goes to the owners, the other 50% goes to the players.
Is that that's
That
a
makes sense.
WNBA PA thing?
That's a WNBA
Yeah,
thing, yes.
yeah.
And just for the record, that's like similar, like the NFL, the NBA, like all the major sports have something similar to that 50 million revenue share. They're the only ones that only get, and I think it's actually 50% of incremental, which ends up being like 25% or something. Like, so they're not even getting. Now, the other people will say, yeah, but they're losing money every year. Yeah, they're losing money every year.
There's some NBA teams that lose money too.
Do you know what the NBA was doing? Do you know what the NBA was doing in year 25, which would have been like 1973?
Not on national television.
They were losing money.
I will push back on that. Don't say it's a very different business climate now. Losing money year 25 from 2000 to 2024 is a very different.
In 2020, how many NBA teams lost money?
7?
If 7 is half of the league, you're correct.
Oh no! So wait, that was the COVID year. I'm talking even regular.
It was the COVID year, but when people say, well, if you lose money, you should shut them down. Well, no.
Oh yeah, when you're generating a certain amount of revenue,
the NBA subsidizes the WNBA. No, they own 50% of the NBA. They don't. It's their business. They own 50% of them. So are they subsidizing it? Well, they own it. That's what you do with a business that you own.
The incremental growth thing, I think that's definitely seems like a way for the owners of the team of the league to be like, hey, we've put a lot of money into this. We need to get paid first for our investment. And 100%. Then the next deal, that's definitely what it
hey, from a business perspective,
makes sense for them.
If I owned it, I would have done the same thing. From a player perspective, like when you cry poor, well, you shouldn't have done that deal, right? Like you shouldn't have. Now, that being said, they also play half as many games. There's a bit of
the game's got to go up. That's like the easy thing for WNBA. I think they play 40 just 40 games. Bump it up to 55.
I think they should do. I think they should play how many the NBA should play, which is 66.
NBA would never go down in games, though.
No, they never would go down in games. But that's what they should do.
I hear you. Hey, give the girls 66 games.
But give the girls 66 games and bump that number up to $5 billion, even to $5 billion, which
$500 million a year.
I don't love, but do I think $5 billion, right? Because I get it. They're not going to give him 10.5, which but that's my evaluation is 500 million. But I think this deal is going to be at 2.2 billion in 2 years. This deal is going to be a steal. This is going to be the Jalen Brunson contract for the WNBA, where everyone's like, $2.2 billion is so much money. And like, when they said Jalen Brunson, oh my God, can you believe the Knicks paid him that much? Oh, it's not. And now everyone's like, wow, they stole Jalen Brunson. That's what they're going to say. They stole from the WNBA again. So it's a shame, but good at the same time because it's a long time coming.
No, for sure. And like I remember the conversation we had before about you saying these big money can open the Pandora's box of
I'm telling you, I guarantee you. Listen, there's people who already say there's one in the league. Actually, there is. I'm not going to pick on Brittany Griner. This is going to open up. You might want to say no comment.
Right, I say no comment on this one.
I know you've been in trouble because I don't remember the player's name, but there's a player in the WNBA who identifies now as a he.
Okay.
Should he be removed? Biological female, born a female, who identifies.
Is she taking hormones or things? I'm gonna say she needs to stay in the league. I don't know the situation, but that's what we'll say.
No men are allowed in the league. So by definition, if you identify as he, and if a trans man is man, they should be removed from the league, should they not?
No comment.
No comment.
There it is.
So let's move on to Summer League. Mm-hmm. You don't want two things?
No, not two. We got to let one simmer down and then jump again on
let me go back to what I did say though.
Yep.
When this $2 billion deal goes through, and let's say, so let me just do some quick math. How many teams are in the WNBA?
Is it 12? Let me double check.
Okay,
WNBA
so let's go 2.2 billion.
Yep.
And I'm not saying they're going to get
12. Yep.
I'm not saying they're going to get the same deal, but let's go. That's divided by 11. Let's go 50% revenue. That's 100 million.
Yep.
Now let's assuming that's their only revenue, which we know that it's not, but let's assume. You said how many teams?
12.
Okay. Divided by 12 teams. So their salary cap is 8.3 million. Their rosters are 12 people. So the average salary is going to be 690,000. We know that's not how it's going to break down. Obviously, someone's going to get paid more than that. So now you're getting into, there's going to be the first $1 million. It's going to be someone's going to get the magic deal. $1 million a year for 10 years. Or for life or whatever that one was. But someone's going to get $1 million, $2 million deal. So what's to stop Jonte Porter?
I hear you.
Who was getting paid, $100,000, $200,000 a year, had to lie, cheat, and steal with gamblers. Now, not him, because obviously he's probably going to be banned, but that type of person that has those type of loose ethics to say, well, I can struggle G League 2-way contracts, 10-day contracts to make $300,000 a year, or I can go be the greatest WNBA player ever. Because instead of being Jonte Porter, I'm going to be Joanna Porter, and I'm going to make $2 million, $3 million a year as an all WNBA talent who dominates the league, dunks every time I get it, blocks everybody's shots. $3 million is a lot of money.
No, I hear you. And a lot of these guys, even Summer League, the guys fighting for their life. And you mentioned the ethics thing. Look, I can't, if someone says I need to feed my family, I'm not going to say you doing the wrong thing. There's no way I'm going to say you have bad ethics if you want to make more money to feed your family, support them, buy your mother a house, whatever the case is, right? I'm not going to say that. So, like I said, it'll be a tricky situation when it happens.
There's people doing it for free in high school, college, the Olympics right now, doing it for free just to win medals, win events, whatever. You're not going to do it for $2 million if you do it for free, especially if you really feel. I should have been born a woman.
If you generally feel 100%.
Let me not make it all sleazy and bad. They're trying to steal money. They really legitimate think.
That's very real. 100%. That's very real.
Very real. Okay. So what's to stop it from happening? And then what? How does a Sue Bird who's been waiting to get paid now Dan Trossi, she's 75, she might retire, but finally it's I finally can get a contract. And then here comes Bruce, who now wants to be called Caitlyn. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Ms. Jenner, who now is going to take that spot away from me. Is that fair to our women?
I don't think it's fair. But like I said, the WNBA has been a strong advocate for transgender sports rights, right? So them flipping the script, you'll look incredibly hypocritical. It's a bad look for WNBA if they change their stance now because it's affecting their pockets. You know how that goes. So they'd be in a very tricky spot. They'd be in a very tricky spot. I do think it'll just end up being
a remake of Joanna Man.
I mean, hey, it'd be a story. It'd be a story. It would definitely be a story.
Last thing, and then it's good night. Summer League. Do you have this was my Summer League standout? This is
a guy who I was not high on in the draft. I was bashing him all over. Thought he was going to flop, be a Jimmer Fredette type of flop. Reed Shepherd looks like the real deal in Houston. Shooting the ball.
How could you not? How do you bet against a family of hoopers?
I just didn't think the game would necessarily translate at the NBA level. I mean, I've seen it before. I thought his peak would be a Grayson Allen type of player. He seems a lot better than that.
It still might be. It still
might.
Be.
Yeah, okay, so it might be. He just looked phenomenal in.
Looked great in Summer League. I agree with you. I had the fortune of playing with his dad At the University of Kentucky. I used to go there for basketball camp in the summers, and so we had Shep and Rex Chapman was there. Different Anthony Edwards. You might want to look him up. Who went to Kentucky? Oh, are you a Kentucky guy? No, you're a Duke guy.
I'm a Duke guy. Yeah.
Anthony Edwards was there. Tony Delk, Roderick Rhodes. Like I had the fortune of playing with those guys, and if it's his son, he's going to be able to shoot.
I just didn't think that 50% was translating to the NBA. I don't the small sample. You know what I mean?
But I've said this before. Be careful. Be careful because they're playing in summer league, and in some cases they're playing against guys who aren't even as good as the college competition they went up against.
Talk about it. I want to see him against the grown NBA bodies, the size, the speed.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting. Yeah.
Because the summer league, to its the pro and con is you're looking. That's where you throw your developmental guys, your project guys, to see. But when you're having 5-on-5, 5 projects against 5 projects, you're not really seeing what they would do because they're not. Like I said, it's some of them wouldn't have even made a D1 starting roster, right? Like
very real.
Your guy Bronny James wasn't even a starter at USC. Right, that's who they're going up against. So
that's real.
All I'm saying. Someone in the comments said something about taking a drink when we're talking.
Yeah,
and said it was very unprofessional.
I mean,
how do you feel about that? Because I'm like, I'm about to start coughing because we're talking for 2 hours, so I need a drink. Do you feel like that's inappropriate?
I can understand what they're saying. I just don't think it's that serious. But look, if we were in a ESPN studio and they told us no drinking while on air, wait till a commercial break, I could understand that. Yeah, I could, but they're also not talking this long. It's 5 exactly, 5-minute segments.
It's 4-minute segments, and then I can take my drink. There's, I'm going to commercial. I'm, there's all these other things. So other than Shepard, anybody else stand out to you or so bad that you like, oh my God, I need to rethink?
Oh, the first overall pick, Zachary Richardson.
But is he the second? Isn't he the first overall pick because Alex Sarr talked his way out of being the first pick because he didn't want to be?
I mean, sure, but he was still in the running. Exactly, everyone still thought he was in the in the conversation. Definitely looking rough. Like the offensive game just isn't there. Shooting, playmaking, defensively, I think he's strong, but I mean, he's basically Andre Roberson at this point. A little taller though.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I think, but again, I also think I don't trust anything that happens in summer league.
I hear that too. I'm not gonna think too
like
much.
Jaylen Brown, like everyone's trying to piece together Bronny and Jaylen Brown now, right? Because Jaylen Brown had a bad summer league, but I'm like, well, they're two very different players, like from a size, standpoint, from a
everything standpoint at that point.
Jaylen's a lot more developed. They're completely different players. Okay, so the last thing I want to tell you about is, do you know who Ori is from Hoop Social?
Ori from Hoop Social? No, I don't think so. Maybe Hoop Space, maybe.
Hoop Social, great content on TikTok. They have a show on Sportsnet Network here called The Creator Hour. I want your take on this because I know you're a music guy. What do you think of their new intro?
Get your popcorn ready. It's a show you can't miss. Welcome to The Creator Hour, where legends reminisce.
Yeah, nice little bop.
I put the video together. Is my creative still on point? Do you like the way the popcorn?
Yeah, it's a nice little bop they got going. I got the beats cool. You see catchy lyrics to the popcorn getting ready thing. Not mad. I gotta do it for the show. I gotta hit up the studio, record something.
Yeah, I'm very surprised you've done nothing.
I've been in the studio in a while, but I also I sing sad love songs. Like that's my thing, like the crying in the rain stuff. So yeah, I'll exactly. I'll sing.
You have to be if you miss the show, you're gonna be like, crying like your girl just left you or something.
Yeah, like I like making I try to make music like again like a Brian McKnight maybe. You know what I mean? So that's
But
how
that's-
the intro
hey,
works.
let me teach you something about the music industry, my friend.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm very well connected. I used to work at Sam the Record Man. Every R&B singer, sad song singer, they always have one
Oh yeah, it's a bop.
kind of poppy,
Club record.
like Boys to Men is a great example of a group that sings sad love
Ballad type songs. Yeah.
ballads, right? And the song they hated, probably their biggest hit that put them on the map, Motown Philly.
There's a thing I know, especially back in that time. Well, in the 90s, you could have a single that was a sad love song, like because that was what was in. But it's interesting for like Usher's Confessions. If you notice that album, I think probably one of the biggest albums of this century since 2000, one of the biggest albums ever. That entire album is slow, kind of sad love songs about relationship, all that. But the first single is Yeah, which is like one of the biggest club bangers of the past 20 years, right? And they did it strategically, like that song will grab the
in with that, and
exactly.
then people are like, oh, but and then all the girls are like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, and then they'll listen to the rest of the album because that song just brings them in. So no, that's for real. So
yeah, I can't think of anyone that didn't do like even Brian McKnight, since you used him as an example, had his catch 'em. I'm going to call it their catch 'em songs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on my guys.
Even Whitney, she had a catch 'em song.
Casey, what was it? Casey, JoJo,
Casey and JoJo, All My Life.
No, Jodeci. So before they were Casey and JoJo, they were Jodeci,
right?
They still had the one, and then it was like all the slow songs. It's just that's how you do it. That's
unless you're Adele, I guess she does seem to just have to do her.
Okay, but yeah, fair enough.
There are anomalies, of course. They'll be.
But yeah, no, but Whitney, yeah, for sure, she wants to dance with somebody.
Yeah, exactly. It's that. Mariah, I mean, she had a lot of singles that were slow, right, during that era. Like every song she put out, there's a time when
there was always one song on the album that where there was like ODB was on it, or like there was the video for it, and it wasn't just about butterflies and teardrops, although a lot of her songs are about butterflies and teardrops.
Justin Timberlake got a DUI and he got in trouble. You see that? That was what was crazy too was apparently, so he was obviously at a bar in the Hamptons, drove his car out there, and the cop stopped him. He just I think apparently mentioned, "You don't know who I am," and the cop didn't know. Cop didn't know who he was. He was like a young.
You know what?
Cop.
I think anytime you say, "Do you know who I am?" you should immediately get arrested.
Yeah, it seems a bit corny for sure. I was just surprised. I don't know if we're getting old for him to not know who Justin Timberlake is. I think just shows we're entering a different time. Which again, if you're 23,
no, but here's the thing, though. That's the thing that I tell people. You're not as big as you think you are, because you're into music. I'm into music. We know who Justin Timberlake is, but if you're not like into music, you won't know who Justin Timberlake is.
I mean, do you think this is an era thing? Like if it was Justin Bieber, I think he would know now.
No, I think if 90% of cops pulled over Justin Bieber, they had no idea who he is.
Really, even today? Damn.
Even today.
That's strong. I mean, maybe that world isn't as big as we think, or like I said, people aren't as big.
I guarantee you, they don't know athletes. Like,
you don't think they would know who LeBron James is? But I think 90% of American cops know. Exception, of course,
of like the top 3 or 4.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, don't you remember that skit that LeBron did where he was giving out pizzas?
Oh yeah, the Blaze Pizza thing. Yeah,
they didn't even recognize who he was, because if you don't watch sports, and let's not forget the percentage of people that watch sports in any city is small.
That's very true.
Right? Like we think. Excuse me. See, that's why I had to drink the water. We think, again, because we're in this world, that everybody just knows everybody.
That's very true.
Well, like, I guarantee, if I showed you, I wonder if I have it. If I have this, I'm gonna put you to the test. You're gonna fail miserably.
Probably.
Oh, I don't have it. But my guy, yeah, maybe I might get chilled to do it. So I don't know if you know. You guys should do a collab. That should be your thing.
Do it. What's
my guy Xavier Top Floor.
Okay.
He's a rapper out of LA. Well, originally Africa, but he's a rapper in LA, and we connected through basketball, and like he did like I don't know the original music that we had for Fluent and Chill was his. The only problem is the record label and then YouTube have to jump through all these hoops to get it like stop being banned. But he does this thing where, and I'm not going to make you do it right now, but I'll just show it on screen as I'm going through this because I don't have it on my computer. Where he's like, they're showing him all these old players.
Oh, and people have to name them, yeah.
You have to name them, right?
I mean, I could name if it's like 2000. Yeah, I'm naming all those guys for sure. Tyreek Evans, like these are, yeah. But you show me like 80s, yeah, I'm gonna struggle. Josh Howard, yeah.
So yeah, okay, hold on. Okay, since you want to be show off, here you go.
I know if I don't name. Okay, okay, now, ooh, okay, now it's kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie. The Brooklyn one,
you should know Quincy AC.
Quincy, okay.
So I'm actually really impressed by him because he gets them all correct. And I'm like, I got 2 wrong, and I go, I bet you most people don't get half of them. So my point is, we basketball people will get half to 80% of them.
Yep.
I got, like I said, he got all of them right. I think there's 13 of them. I got 2 wrong. You don't think a cop who doesn't watch basketball is going to get any of them?
No, I hear it. Yeah, he doesn't watch basketball.
Because we're not talking about the LeBron Jameses of the world. Yeah. We're not talking about those guys. We're talking about Steve Blake. They're not going to know who the hell.
Yeah, they're not going to know that. They will know who Mikal Bridges is for the most part.
They're not. Yeah, they're no way. Like, unless you're out of the car and they're tall, they might be like, "Oh, you must be a basketball player because you're 6'8". Like,
exactly. Yeah,
they might assume it, and they're going to assume it of people who aren't, just because they're tall. Yeah. So that's
even bigger with football players because of helmet syndrome. Unless you're Tom Brady, Peyton Manning,
football players forget it. Yeah, football players they'll never know.
Yeah,
and that's why I say so. When it's musicians, and I think here's why I think it is. The music video is dead. So in our era, right, there was it wasn't okay. A new album was dropping, but it was more so Madonna's new video is coming out, or
on MTV.
Yeah, MTV's dropping whatever's this new video, and you're like, oh, I gotta go watch it. Well, guess what you saw in the video? Well, you saw the artist like for 3 straight minutes, or if it was Thriller, 11 straight minutes. If it was a Michael Jackson saga.
And look, I had a theory. I think Michael Jackson was the most famous person ever. I'll tell you why. This is why I said I think Michael Jackson crosses so many barriers and boundaries where, like, my grandparents who grew up in a village in Sri Lanka right back in the day, they knew who Michael Jackson was. You could play, you know what I mean? Like in the most remote parts with no internet at that time, whatever, Michael Jackson was still known. And he was really, like, I can go to Singapore. There's people in certain countries who don't know who Drake is, but to this day, they'll know who Michael Jackson is.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I think we might have to do that poll. Who is the most famous person in the history of the world? And I think he wins over everybody. Like, I'm not just talking entertainers. I mean, like, I think he more than Albert Einstein, more like
because those guys like Einstein. Who do you want to say people like? Who would be his competition? Worldwide, not just an American bias, right? So worldwide, I'm trying to think.
The Dalai Lama.
Pope. Yeah, I would say, but like, who's the Pope? Does the Pope change every time, or
he has to die?
He has to die. Yeah, but so, like, I don't know who the Pope is right now. Did you know the name of the Pope?
John Paul Francis V.
Oh, no, okay, you got it. But I guarantee you a lot of people. Yeah, there it is. I'm just trying to think of it.
I don't even know. Let's see how close I was. Who is the?
Watch it be the 7th
current Pope. Pope Francis. I did say Pope Francis.
Yeah, there it is.
It doesn't just say Pope Francis. There you go. So I was kind of right. He's Jorge Mario Bergoglio, born in 1936. So a new one's coming soon. He's just Pope Francis.
Some people say like Napoleon, Hitler, those guys in those age. Queen
Elizabeth. Maybe. Yeah, Hitler might.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. That I wonder though. Again, if I go to a village in Singapore, Sri Lanka, and kind of those places,
they might not know.
That's what I'm saying. They might not know. I don't know if that history is really taught like that. But again, Michael Jackson's music was just so different. It's a
Yeah,
interesting.
I would say that he's probably going to be in the running
Yeah,
every single one. So yeah, you never know. All right. That's it for this week.
That is it.
Don't say anything you're not supposed to.
But hey, I might be laid off the jokes for a little bit. Just make regular, not so risque jokes.
Coward.
I'm thinking, maybe I gotta join the Dave Chappelle boat. Just like, you know what? Screw it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
The fact that you popped out of that transgender question, sad.
Hey man.
I'm going to invite you though. I'm starting a new show called My Cousin Johnny.
Okay.
Because my cousin Vinny.
You have a cousin named Vinny? You're
No, remember that? No, the movie.
Oh, movie. Okay.
Remember that movie, My Cousin Vinny?
I've not seen it, but I've heard references to it.
What?
Maybe I got to see it. My Cousin Vinny, 92 film. Who's in it? No, I haven't seen it. I'll put it on my bucket list.
You need to watch it. So
yeah.
my cousin Johnny is much like my cousin Vinny, where he's just going to say the most outlandish things you've ever heard with no filter.
Okay.
So what basically the show is, it's a podcast about stuff and sports and stuff.
Yep.
And I'm going to ask him questions. And a lot of times I'm going to ask him questions that he's going to have no idea, but he'll still try to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it like this, but we're also going to do some in-studio sessions.
Oh, where's studio at?
In just north of Toronto.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to invite you because I think it's going to be fun.
Gotcha.
But again, you haven't seen the movie.
Okay. I got to watch the movie now. I feel like I have to watch the movie.
Yeah, you got to go watch the movie so you can get it.
Gotcha. You
can be our Marissa Tomei.
Okay.
We are interviewing for a third host of the show to play the kind of Marissa Tomei character. Although I'm in his suit in the promo, I'm going to be more like there's a judge.
Okay.
In the movie, I'm more going to be the judge, the straight guy. When I say straight, I'm not talking about sexuality. I'm talking about like the non-comedy. Like I'm gonna ask serious questions.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna do his thing, just natural. Like he's not even gonna know. So the premise of the show is, we talk about sports a lot, but we also talk about everything else, just like we did today.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna know any of the questions.
Okay.
So we're just gonna go into the show, and I'm gonna ask him to talk about this, that, the other.
That. Are they all like controversial topics? Are they
some of them?
Okay. That's what you want, yeah.
And he's nuts. Like he will.
Okay. He'll just kind of say it. Got nothing to lose.
No one has ever made me laugh as hard as he has.
Gotcha.
In my life.
HR won't be calling him.
There's no HR.
Okay. Gotcha.
There's no HR. There's no HR. He's got nothing to lose. So yeah. So I want to bring you on too, because I don't like, I like throwing curveballs too.
Yeah. I got you. Sounds like it'd be fun.
And because it'd be in studio, right? We'll have
do you have a date?
No, not for because we're gonna start off like this first, see how it works, how the chemistry is, because it's one thing when you're sitting around, drinking and talking, but that's kind of how we're gonna do it. We're gonna sit around and just be drinking and talking.
Get a little Heineken or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a cranberry vodka guy personally, but
he's a Appleton and Coke guy.
Okay.
So we're just gonna sit around and drink and invite people over and keep it like whatever. So since you're in the neighborhood, I'm gonna invite you over. So just keep keep the popcorn ready.
I hear you.
That's it for this week. Peace out.
Take it easy.